Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Zach Brinker with alphaenergymethod.com. In today's video, I am coming at you with how to boost your testosterone naturally for you guys out there. And we're going to be talking about 8 ways that I specifically implemented to focus on boosting my testosterone levels without TRT, without any of that bullshit gimmicks that you see on the market, but 8 natural, high quality ways that you can boost yours as well. So if you stick around and you watch this video and you find a value, go ahead and share this with somebody else. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you give that thing a little like and click on that notification bell. You know, it's usually in the top right corner on your screen. And sit back, relax. Let's get right into this, guys. So compared to like previous generations, like, you know, if I were to talk to my dad compared to, you know, our generation now, because I guess I'm considered a millennial, people growing up in that era, they have on average higher testosterone levels than the eras as we keep producing the testosterone levels on average keep declining. And if you look at the older generations, the average testosterone levels at that time used to be, you know, anywhere from 350 or 500 to 1500 nanograms a deciliter, and now it's dropped to 350 to 1200. So now the new average is just the starting point is 250 nanograms per deciliter or less, and the top end is like 300 nanograms a deciliter or less. So just to give you a perspective, that's a big difference. And that's we're going to talk about, you know, things in this video that you could be implementing to really reverse these effects. And most of this, for most people that don't realize this, once you start hitting 25 years old, your testosterone level starts to decline. And by the time you're 30s, you're suffering. You can be potentially suffering if you don't have these things in check. You could be one of these people that fall victim to this, and that's okay. I have too. But this video is really tailored to anyone who may be suffering from these potential side effects of low testosterone, especially people in their 30s and 50s. This is where it's in your prime, where it can really affect you. Now, can it affect you in your 20s? Absolutely, it did with me. There's specific cases, like, you know, you could be considered an outlier in that case, like myself, that you can be affected if you're not following these, you know, protocols. Now, the benefits of testosterone, we all know the benefits. You know, more energy, more stamina, which is a lot of things I talk about. I preach energy as an energy specialist. I talk about energy a lot, you improve your stamina, you improve your energy, you increase your fat burning capabilities. You're going to be leaner overall. You're going to have a better body composition. You're going to have more muscle mass to body fat. You're going to be able to improve your muscle building potential. And you're going to have a higher sex drive. So we know what that means, right? You have a higher sex drive, you're going to be able to have more pleasurable sex. Who doesn't want that? So that's the thing to keep in mind is if your testosterone levels aren't high, then the effects of that is obviously the opposite of what I just listed. Low energy, you know, the potential to have low body fat is going to be greatly decreased. You can't build as much muscle. You have a hard time keeping the muscle you have, and your libido goes down through the roof. It goes downhill. It drops like crazy, and it's hard to, you know, it's hard to have fun with that. It's hard to have sex and you know, do those things or even have, you know, that pleasure you always wanted, because it doesn't exist hard. It's very very low. And so 8 ways we're going to talk about today is 8 things that you can be doing to boost the testosterone levels naturally. Now, the first thing is really important. You want to really focus on consuming ample fats. Now, before people start jumping on this and thinking that I'm talking about keto, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm an advocate of a balanced nutritional approach, and I feel like all these components are very vital for optimal performance, for, you know, maximizing your health in all angles. And so if you're just focusing on ample fat intake, and you're really cutting out other food groups, you're just gonna, it's a recipe for disaster. However, getting more fats in your diet, healthy fats, including cholesterol-rich foods, which I know is something that people talk against of, but there's numerous studies that show the benefits of cholesterol for testosterone. Guys, cholesterol is like the main ingredient. It's produced in the testes. It's what used to convert to testosterone. And if your body is low on cholesterol, if you're not consuming enough cholesterol-rich foods, which we'll talk about in a minute, like, you know, healthy fats, like extra virgin olive oil, which is a really good one. You can use that you can cook with it. You can use that on salads. You can use that for a vast array of things. Olives is another good example. You can also do nuts, nut butters, like macadamia nuts is I love macadamia nuts. That's a really good fat source. It's a really good nut. It has really good high quality fats in it, high monounsaturated fats. Pecans, almonds, and cashews are good. Another one you can implement in your arsenal is Brazil nuts. Brazil nuts has a really high active ingredient that we're going to talk about in a minute later down the list called selenium. Selenium is really freaking potent for testosterone. It's really powerful. It's really easily to be not to get enough of that because it's not really common in a lot of foods because most people in the typical Western diet, they don't eat a variety of, you know, different foods. So if they don't get a variety in there, they're not going to get enough selenium. So get at least 2 to 3 Brazil nuts a day is going to give you a nice pack of boron and selenium and a lot of good, you know, micronutrients like, you know, zinc as well. So it's a really powerful micronutrient dense nut that it's been around forever and it's really good for overall health and, you know, testosterone. Foods that are also high in saturated fats, like you want to get more grass-fed beef, bison, you know, grass-fed, you know, pasteurized eggs, whole eggs. Guys, cholesterol is good for you. It makes you feel alive. Coconuts, coconut oil, coconut butter. These are really good in saturated fats. Coconut oil is a really good cooking oil because it's a solid at room temperature. So it doesn't change the molecular levels in the oil. Whereas if you do cook at a high heat with an olive oil, this really messes with the molecules and it actually can cause it to be more toxic when you consume it. So that's something to keep in mind from earlier. Olive oil is healthy, but if you cook it at high heats, it changes the molecular level and it changes the compounds in the olive oil, which makes it more inflammatory and toxic to your consumption. So just an FYI, if you consume that all the time like that, kind of change it up, do like coconut oil or an oil that's stable at high heats. Next is reducing. Number 2, you want to reduce the consumption of alcohol. And the reason being is I talked about this in one of my previous videos, probably a couple weeks ago. Too much alcohol, what that does is it actually increases estrogen because the phytoestrogens that are contained in alcohol from the hops. What happens is it increases the conversion of your testosterone to estrogen. And so when testosterone levels, what happens is they end up dropping over time and your estrogen levels end up freaking spiking up. So you'll get what happens over time is if you notice people who drink a lot of alcohol, a lot of beer, they end up developing like, you know, the puffy areas on their chest. It's like aka man boobs. The technical term is gynecomastia. It's where they get like the really puffy nipples. That's where it could start out with, and then you can end up producing more fat in that area. So you're essentially getting called man boobs. This is just excess estrogen in the body. If you're struggling with low testosterone and you're experiencing these symptoms, you guys definitely want to cut back on this. Number 3 is you want to increase the consumption of key testosterone boosting vitamins and minerals. Now, number 1, I've spoke about this briefly in yesterday's video. If you haven't watched it already, you can go ahead and watch it yesterday where I was talking about what's in my supplement cabinet. But number 1 is you want to consume more zinc because zinc is an aromatase blocker. It blocks the uptake of estrogen in the body, and it breaks it down in the livers, and it essentially helps clean that out, gets it out of your body. It's really good for boosting your immune system. It's really good for just boosting overall testosterone production. It's a good quality overall mineral for the body for overall health and wellness for men. Magnesium, same thing. if you're deficient in magnesium, if you don't get ample magnesium from your food, you need to increase your supplemental magnesium. It's responsible for over 365 bodily functions. There's so many studies that show it with the benefits of increasing your testosterone and just giving and the effects of that has on your overall health. That's why you'll see it in some test boosters, but you can take this in a multivitamin form. You can take them separately. I recommend taking them separate because you can get the full effect versus multivitamin. What happens with multivitamins, if you're buying the caplet form, they're all pressed and that's not natural form. And also most of these are made in a lab and the labs are synthetic. Synthetic isn't really, your body's not going to absorb all of that amount versus if it's a natural compound, if it's naturally made. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're consuming food that's naturally made and you go to a store and you buy a synthetic made supplement and you're consuming it, it's not the same. So you want to stick to things that are ingredients that are naturally occurring when you're consuming a supplement. And there's big differences in how your body processes it. B12, for example, the different compounds for B12 is there's a methylated version and there's one with it's bonded with a cyanide version. So it's not legit cyanide, but it's a cyanide, a strain of cyanide. So that's the chemical synthetic version versus the natural version. There's a big difference in how your body is able to absorb and process it. So if you're getting supplements, like vitamin D, vitamin A, which is these are both powerful for freaking testosterone. Vitamin D is a hormonal vitamin. This is so freaking important. I talked about this yesterday, for mood, for testosterone, for just boosting effects, especially depending on the climate you live, where you live, how much sun you're getting. If you're not getting enough sun, if you're not eating enough vitamin D rich foods, adding more vitamin D. Like I said, these vitamins, a rule of thumb is you want to get food first. So look for the vitamins that are rich in this, the foods that are rich in these vitamins first, and then supplement when needed. Get blood work done, see where you may be deficient still, add in these supplements when needed. Next is vitamin A. Like I said, vitamin A is a very important fat soluble vitamin that most men need. If we don't get enough vitamin A, it's really critical for testosterone as well. Same thing with B vitamins. There's so many studies that show the benefits of B vitamins it has on testosterone, not just your metabolism, not just how it processes and breaks down the foods, but it's really important for overall health and hormones as well. And like I said, selenium is the one that you can find in things like Brazil nuts. You can find a lot of these vitamins in really good high quality foods, and it's very, very beneficial for overall health and testosterone. So implementing these 5 to 6 top vitamins, those right there are very crucial. Now there's other ones as well, but those ones are really, really beneficial to implement in your regimen. If you're not already, you need to highly recommend you be doing so. If you want, like I said, start out by looking at these vitamins and finding the whole food sources. So for zinc, get more red meats in your diet. Get more eggs in your diet because those are naturally occurring with zinc. There's some vegetables that do have, like leafy greens, that may have small amounts, but same thing with magnesium. You just go through the list. Vitamin D, it's going to be a fatty fish. It can be tuna. It can be calcium, or milk. Dairy products has a lot of vitamin D in it. So find whole foods, implement when needed, and then supplement after you got blood work to see where you're still probably deficient in and where you can top off your levels, and then add in a supplement when needed. Number 4 is you want to have more sex. Yes, the more sex you have, the more testosterone your body may produce. This is very vital because what happens is we live in a generation now where there's actually guys who are addicted to porn. There's guys who are addicted to masturbation, manual stimulation, and they don't get the pleasure from the opposite sex, whatever sex it may be, the opposite sex. And what happens is this causes a depletion in testosterone because they're getting it from if they're watching porn, there's so many things that show like the effects it has on, you know, the inability to have sex with a person. And so that what happens is when the person tries to have sex with this person, it's like the shit doesn't work half the time, and you know your body reacts differently. Your body's like it treats you like it's just like a robot, and you can't do the same things, you can't perform the same way like you did before. So for anybody that's watching this, you may not be, but there is people that do struggle with this. I myself have, you know, years ago, I used to, you know, we've all went through a phase like that. Porn, I mean, like I said, porn is one of these things where it's not beneficial. And I don't care what anybody says, it doesn't benefit you. It's all it does is it plays a fucking movie theater in your head, and it tricks your body to thinking that that's real life when it's not. And then you essentially think that that's what it is. And then you act out on it. And it's not healthy. Versus if you do whatever you want with, you know, a real person, that's where you're going to get more benefit from. So for anybody who does struggle with that, just try to remember that it's going to be more beneficial for you in the long term when you're doing it with someone else versus a computer. Number 5 is get rid of belly fat by reducing your sugar consumption. Now, what I'm talking about is with like sugar consumption is you want to look at the heavy processed sugar, and sugar meaning like how much soda you're drinking, all these sweet teas, all these artificial things that you're consuming liquid form first. Then look at all the heavily processed sugars you're consuming on a daily basis. Look at all these things, do an audit on that, see how much you're consuming, because the more of this you're consuming, this is what's causing you to hold on to that weight. This is what's causing you to hold on to that excess body fat. This is what's causing you to feel like shit all the time. When you cut this down a lot, you eat more whole foods, you're going to do your body a whole lot of good. You're going to recomp your body. You're going to look a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to drop weight pretty quickly. Just imagine how much weight you can lose if you stop drinking a bunch of soda or, you know, a bunch of processed sugar and drinks and start drinking more water. You're going to lose a lot of weight. If you're doing that, try implementing this, and I guarantee you're going to lose weight, and you're going to feel better. You're going to have more energy. And like I said, another thing to point out is like belly fat by itself, it holds a lot of estrogen. So the more body fat, if you're over 15% body fat, I've talked about this all the time. I've talked about this for years. The more body fat you have, over 50% body fat, you're going to be more prone to lower and lower in testosterone levels, because your body is holding on to more estrogen. Your body lives your estrogen lives in the body fat. So it treats, and body fat is like I said, the more you have, the higher your testosterone level is going to be. So because it impacts your free testosterone levels, plain and simple. And like I said, the other thing to keep in mind is like the sex hormone binding globulin, which is also referred to as SHBG. This plays a role in determining how much free testosterone is in the body. So when your estrogen levels is crazy high, your sex hormone binding globulin is going to be lower. You can't have it both ways. You can't have high estrogen levels and feel amazing, have high energy, and be able to do all the shit you want to do and have a high sex drive. You can't fucking do that. I'm sorry, it's not going to work. You have to balance your ratios out, and you have to lower your estrogen as a man and raise your testosterone, because when you raise your testosterone, you're going to get all those healthy benefits that you want. Number 6, this is very important, and I've done like numerous experiments on this, is you want to improve the quality of your sleep. You need to improve the quality and the quantity of your sleep. You need to develop a sleep schedule. You need to develop, you know, consistencies with your sleep. You need to develop a sleep bedtime routine, because if you aren't doing these things and you're really slacking in this department, what's going to happen is you're going to suffer greatly from drops in energy. You're going to notice how this is affecting your day-to-day life, and it's going to drop each week. Just in 5 days, you're going to see a 20% decrease in testosterone. 5 to 7 days, if you're not consistent with your sleep. So it's essential for many aspects of your health, including, like I said, the role it plays in boosting your testosterone naturally. If you're sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night consistently, you're going to bed at the same time, you're waking up at the same time, you're going to feel amazing. Your testosterone levels is going to boost because you're able to recover. You're able to get in deep REM sleep. And that's where your body releases the most growth hormone and the most testosterone. And so you're going to wake up feeling rejuvenated, feeling high in energy, and you're going to feel alive versus waking up feeling groggy and like a sack of shit. There's a big difference. When you get quality sleep, your body rewards you for that. Number 7, reduce your exposures to estrogens, or AKA plastics, heavy plastics. You'll see these a lot. If you're drinking out of plastic bottles, if you're drinking, water that isn't filtered, if you're drinking from, a lot of like water bottles, I recommend using steel, like, metal, or use glass. So these are going to be the best options for drinking with water, because you're not going to get any chemicals leaking in your water. Now, for a filtration system, you can use a connection, like a system that you connect with your water, tap water. You can use like a filter pitcher. There's so many different options that you can implement for improving your water quality as well. So also another thing to keep in mind is these estrogens are also in skincare products, they're in hair products, they're in lotions, they're in face washes, deodorants, in the form of parabens, sulfates, glycol, and phytates. So these are just some of the chemicals that contain estrogens that are really harmful for your body. I've talked about this in the past, but I really want to introduce you to more people that come across this, because this is very, very important. And number 8 is you want to follow a structured resistance training program. You need to have a strength resistance training program in your routine. If you're not doing it, you need to start somewhere, do some bodyweight training, build up to a work capacity where you're able to handle that, and then transition to a weight resistance training program, because this is going to serve your body extremely well. There are many types of exercises out there on the market that are good for the body, but when it comes to boosting testosterone, natural testosterone, not with fucking steroids, not with fucking bullshit, resistance training is always going to be superior. I'm going to go into some details why. Because and it should also, your training program, your resistance training program, it needs to have like a system in place. It needs to have a structure to where you have lifting days and recovery days. So you can think of it like 3 to 4 days a week, no more than 5. And you also need to be implementing compound movements. So deadlifts, squats, presses, overhead presses, rows, pull-ups, dips, swings, swing variations, compound heavy fucking lifts. Keep it basic, keep it simple, stupid. Think of that phrase. You're going to get huge, tremendous fucking progress from that, guys. Huge progress from implementing a basic program. Now, if you guys want access to that, comment down below in this video, and I can send you a free test boosting workout over, and let you guys implement it. So I create, this is the same workout I implement, and like I said, this shit works, guys. You don't need to be doing fucking bullshit. You need to keep stuff simple. That's why these things work so well. It's simple, but yet people want something new and flashy. Keep it simple. Focus on the basics. You're going to get a lot of fucking progress when you do that. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you click that like button down below, and you share it with some friends, someone nearest to you who's also interested in learning how to reclaim their energy back without loads of caffeine, because we're dropping videos on YouTube every single day. And so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the bell notification in the right corner for instant notification when I do drop a new video and it's published. And if you got any questions about any of the content that I covered in today's video, just leave a comment with the hashtag HeyZach down below in the comment section, and I will get to it in a timely manner. With that said, guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.